Welcome everyone to Photo 101, and in this episode we're going to talk about shutter speed. Now shutter speed is just another way that you can control your exposure for your cameras. Now unlike aperture, shutter speed, think of it as the time of light you're letting in your camera. So shutter speed controls how long the light enters your camera. So it's mainly when you're dealing with continuous light or the ambient light. Like if you're dealing with flash, that's mainly if you deal with aperture, but if you still need some ambient light, if you're shooting outside, that's controlled by your shutter speed. Since, like with this light here, it's on, it's still on, and guess what? It's still on right now. Its amount of light doesn't really matter because I'm not dealing with that. I'm dealing with how long I want this light to be interesting in the sensor. I'll explain this a little more when I go into exposure with ambient lights or with flash. That'll be another episode. So if you just think about that, shutter speed is the amount of time you're letting light in. Now I have a few shutter speeds here that if you look at, these are just the simple ones that you'll have in your camera. So these are just kind of some of the numbers that you'll find on your camera. As you can see, it's like 1 second up to, some cameras can go up to 8 thousandths of a second. Some can only go to about 4 thousandths of a second. So seconds usually the fastest, the slowest you can let light in. That's how long the shutter's open, and 8 thousandths usually is the fastest. It's like. So also, if you think of it this way, the faster the shutter speed, the sharper the image is, because you are taking that picture at 8 thousandths of a second. It's going to be tack sharp. When you are doing it at 1 second, it's not going to be as sharp because there will be some motion blur between now and a second. So if you want sharp images, you want to be in the thousandths of a second, or you can usually get it at 60ths of a second. That's pretty good hand holding. There's actually a rule, like a rule of thumb is you can hand hold 1 over your focal length. So if you are shooting at a 50mm, you might want to be at 60ths of a second. That might increase your chance of hand holding the camera and getting tack sharp images. And if you have 200, you might want to be at 250 or 500ths of a second to get that tack sharp if you're hand holding it. If you're on tripod, it doesn't really matter. So if you think the reason between that is because the lens is magnifying the image, it's also magnifying all your movement. So if you are doing a video, if you have a video camera right now, test it out. Just have it at the widest you have. So if you have a, let's say a 70 to 200mm lens, I want you to set it on live mode, hand hold it, and put it at 70. See how much you see the shake. Now I want you to zoom in all the way to 200 and see how much you see shaking. So as it's magnified, it's going to show more of your movement. Now one thing on here that I didn't show here, but it is the is bulb. There should be a setting on your camera, on most DSLR cameras, that says bulb. What that is you control the length of the camera's shutter speed. Meaning, if it's usually past a second. So if you go further than a second, that's usually bulb. So if you need a, let's say if you're shooting a, let's say you're shooting a waterfall, and you want that silky look that you need, usually for a waterfall. Well, first off, you need ND filter. That will cut down the light. I'll talk about more of that with accessories, or I'm not sure where that's going yet, but you also need to delay the length of the shutter speed so you can see the movement of the water, and you can have a bulb setting, which means you can have it set at 2, 3, 4, 60 seconds if you want, a minute. You can actually have, I actually done exposures late at night at 1 minute. It's kind of cool looking, but for that, I would definitely get a velometer or a shutter release button that can lock into bulb mode, and that will reduce the amount of shake, because there will be shake on the camera if you have that for that long. So that's what bulb is. If you haven't seen that yet, bulb is whatever you want. You control your shutter speed. So that's just a quick overview of shutter speed with your camera. Just keep in mind that the slower the shutter, the more light you're letting in, and the higher the shutter speed, less light you're letting in. Also just remember that shutter speed is the amount of time you're letting light in your camera. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this has helped you with understanding a little more with shutter speed with a camera. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, you can follow me on my Twitter and Instagram page where I post everything there. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.